Later, show me what you're working with. What's up, y'all? Oh, listen, I love mystical, whatever. It's your girl, Constance, right? How y'all doing? Welcome to Consciously Constance. And this is part 2 of my series called Acting for Life. And what I'm doing is giving a few acting lessons, things that I've learned on my journey, things that I think are the most important to building yourself as an emotional athlete or an actor. So, the song I would say, shake it fast. Okay, take away the shake it fast part. But this lesson is called Watch Yourself. Okay? And it's really all about self-awareness. So what I want to talk to you all about this evening is the fact that, my last episode, we talked about getting real clear on what it is that you want. And that is so important. But I was thinking about, what I communicated, and I really had to circle back around and let's focus on you for a second, because an actor has to get a very clear understanding of what you're working with. Show me what you're working with. Who are you? Who are you? How do you tick? What makes you do what you do? And these are all important to know, because this is what you're bringing to your table. You are what you're working with. Watch yourself. You got to show them what you're working with. Okay? So there are many ways to getting around to becoming self-aware. And it's so important in acting and in life, because when you get self-awareness down, let me tell you, it kind of just levels your head out with a lot of things that you might be dealing with in life. The more you understand yourself, the more you can be clear on how to navigate the different things that you might be going through in life. What makes you angry? What makes you anxious? What triggers you? What smells take you to certain memories? What situations do you think back on and smile? Which people do you grimace when you hear their name even? Seriously, study yourself. And actors, we get a bad rep sometimes for being self-absorbed, and we're constantly looking at ourselves in the mirror, and it feels like all we're doing is just stroking our ego when we're constantly checking ourselves out, and you're always recording yourself. You always want to look at yourself. But it's your job as an actor to study you first and foremost. Nobody else is going to get you like you do. And you have to get you, because you are the canvas for every actor that you paint on. For every character that you paint on in your career. So you have your own isms. God made us all uniquely according to his design and his purpose for all of us. So we're all different. The way I process a thought is going to be different from the way you process a thought. The way that I behave when I'm hungry is going to be different than the way you behave when you're hungry. We both get angry, but you might physically embody that differently than I do. I might verbally get a little snippy and a little quick-witted when I'm hungry, where you might get quiet, and it's very, very important to carve out time into your day to just reflect on you as a person. And like I said, there are different ways to getting around to it, and I'm going to talk about a couple of them. So first off, one great thing is journaling. And I know how many journals have you started? And maybe did an entry or two, and the rest of the book is blank. I am guilty of that. I'll tell you the truth. When I took acting in college, I sucked at journaling. I was so not interested in sitting down and writing every day when I was in college. I was like, why am I sitting here writing this book when I can tell my homegirl while we take some shots about it? I mean, let's be real. That was me. Your story is yours. But I'm 31 now, and I find that alone time a lot more valuable than I used to. You know, it means more to me these days because I am a mother, because I have a full-time job in service, you know, in the service of others. A lot of my life is not about me. So taking the time to focus on myself, it means something different. But what I want you to understand is that no matter where you are in life, whether you're in high school or middle school or college, or maybe you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s, if you don't take time to examine yourself regularly, you will get lost in the sauce. Definitely as an actor, because casting directors look at so many faces. You know, I've kind of come full circle with this acting thing. I'll tell you the truth. Even this year, I tried to quit. I tried to be like, look, this ain't for me. I'm tired. I'm dirty. Like, I was like, earlier this year, I was like, man, this is enough. But I'm back. But anyway, in my circle, in my journey to coming back to where I belong, I got very interested in producing and understanding what all that really means, you know? And I realized in kind of shadowing that process is that actors are important. Actors are obviously necessary if you want to produce a narrative picture, right? The actors are necessary, but the actors are so there's so many. There's just an abundance of actors that there's so many faces. It can be overwhelming if you don't focus on what you're looking for from a casting perspective. But just imagine, I'm an African American female, right? I'm light skinned. I got brown eyes. It looks like I got long dark hair right now. How many faces do you just see like this on Instagram? Not like my face, but my type, right? So I could train for years and I could beat my face to the gods and I could get my edges laid. And my slate is going to come up with maybe 1,000 more slates that from just glancing, we look like what you're looking for. And I want you to understand that making yourself stand out is not about gimmicks. You know, you don't have to put on neon lights around you to say, hey, look at me. What really stands out is authenticity. What people really notice is the fact that they got lost in you. You might have been reading. You might have been performing. But when that casting director is doing their work, but they pause and actually watch you, that stands out. And the key to like really nailing auditions, really nailing reads, is to make sure that you bring you into the room, into the Zoom, whatever the medium is. Make sure that you're bringing yourself. Don't bring who you think they want to see. Don't bring who you think will be quirky or different or fun to watch. Bring you. And the only way you can know that you're bringing you is if you really define what you are. What are you? Who are you? How are you? You know, I find this interesting. I talked a little bit about all the different things that I've wanted in my journey. And one thing that I know as a woman, I get caught up in this whole wanting a man thing. And so many times it's like explain to single women that, listen, you better enjoy being single, because this is the time you get for it to be about you. Because when you are coupled with your significant other, it's about y'all, right? And so it's interesting to really see how well you do with just sitting with yourself, especially if you would like someone to be sitting with you. What is that like? What are you like? And this was the work that earlier on in my journey I didn't enjoy, because I felt like it was so boring. Like there's no stimuli. There's no conversation around just being alone. And this is aside from journaling. Journaling is one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is just sit with yourself regularly. Notice yourself. Notice where tension is in your body. Notice if your shoulders feel loose or tight or heavy. Notice if the headache, when you get it, lives here or like back here somewhere. Notice what gets sore first when you've been on your feet all day. Some people it's their feet. Some people it's their back. Some people it's their knees. That might be a 30-year-old thing. But notice the difference in yourself from now to how you felt 5 years ago. Notice what today did to you. If you sit with yourself at the end of the day, you know, it's one thing to, like, when you're journaling, you're reflecting, you're collecting, you're projecting your thoughts onto paper. But when you just kind of sit with yourself, not necessarily a meditation, but just being in the presence of you. When you notice yourself, you can take an inventory of just how you are, because that becomes your tool, your clay that you take into every role that you put on. Another exercise that I recommend doing to become aware of you and understand what you're working with is to write your own monologue. I know we get really excited about learning the lines and learning this character and embodying another person, but as an exercise in not only learning your lines, because you should rehearse it and produce it and, you know, work with it after writing it, but it's really cool to give yourself space to speak your mind. I would suggest writing a monologue with something to say to somebody that means something to you. Say something that you have not said to that person yet. I would suggest imagining it's someone that you can real life have a conversation with. Not something like existential, if I were to sit and have a talk with Jesus. No. Maybe something like if I were to have a conversation with my sister and we've been talking about a certain topic, but I've left this detail out. And of course, you have your own reasons for retaining what you retain in conversation. But give yourself some room to say whatever it is out loud that you've been holding back. And it's a great exercise to notice yourself when you give yourself the gumption. Even though it's not in front of that person, you're practicing having the nerve to get something off of your chest. And this is essential to acting because you have to boldly be the character that you're going to be. And the words that you say when you're playing a part, they are truly the life of that character. And so you have to not be mild about it. You have to be wholehearted about getting whatever it is off of your chest, because that's exactly the tool that you need when it's time to do that monologue in your scene for real, on camera, on stage for real. So I would say keep it at less than a minute if you can, and try not to be too narrative about it. Try not to tell a story with your monologue. Tell somebody what they need to know, because you need to see something come out of this dialogue or this monologue. There needs to be fruit. There needs to be action. It doesn't have to be instruction. It can be something as like a revelation or an explanation. But treat it as if you're not doing this for an audience. Treat it as if you're only saying this to the person you're imagining. That way you don't have to fill in what had happened, because you know that that person was there and they know what happened. Just start here now. Imagine where you are, what kind of day it's been. Is this something that you would talk about on Friday night over beers? Or is this something you would talk about after church at the dinner table? I don't know. But it's a really cool exercise for really figuring you out and getting the whole idea of acting in your own skin, you know, because a lot of times people confuse acting with performing, with putting on a show, when in reality, we perform every day, do we not? How many times have you told someone and they asked you how you were doing and you were fine, but you really weren't? How many times has someone asked you, what's wrong with you? And you said nothing? And you were straight up lying. How many times have you really wanted to just be alone, or you were just done, you were just tired, but you knew where you were, whatever position you were in, be it around your kids or your coworkers at your job, but whatever situation you were in, you had to keep the energy up for the sake of everyone else around you. We perform almost every day, but we have to be honest to how we do it, because how you do it is going to be what you bring to how your character does it when it gets time to playing out parts. So try journaling, try just sitting with yourself and noticing your isms. How do you walk? How do you sit down? How do you sit up? Do you flare your nose when you're mad? Watch yourself. Record videos. See how you be you. Because a lot of times you don't notice it, but other people do. And as an actor, you kind of want to know what's noticeable about you. I'm just saying. Okay, y'all. I love y'all so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. episode 1 of my series, Acting for Life. If you have anything nice to say, please shoot me a comment. If you have anything not nice to say, you can just put it down there. I've been seeing some very unwelcome comments, and just so you know, I do report those. So let's go. Whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you share this with the actor friend that you love who is kind of between work right now and can't really afford a coach. It doesn't matter how long you've been acting, if you started this week or 10 years ago. It's always fun to just keep working on us, because this is a marathon, not a sprint. So that was lesson 2 of Acting for Life. Watch yourself. Show me what you're working with. I love you. Bye.